Did the Helsinki Accords shape human rights in the Vietnam era? Did the Helsinki Accords shape human rights during the Vietnam era? This question takes us into a fascinating part of history. The Helsinki Accords were signed in 1975 during a period known as Détente, which aimed to ease tensions between the Eastern and Western blocs during the Cold War. The Accords involved 35 countries, including the United States and the Soviet Union. They focused on security, economic cooperation, and human rights. While these accords had a strong impact on human rights discussions in Europe, especially within the Soviet Union and its Eastern European allies, their influence on human rights in Vietnam was more indirect. The human rights aspect of the accords became a powerful tool for dissidents in Eastern Europe. For instance, movements like Charter 77 in Czechoslovakia emerged, and organizations like Helsinki Watch, which later became Human Rights Watch, were established. These developments challenged Soviet repression and promoted accountability on a global scale. However, it is important to note that the Helsinki Accords primarily targeted Europe and the post-world war Roman II order. They recognized existing borders and political realities, which some critics argued legitimized the division of Europe and Soviet influence. The human rights provisions were initially seen by the Soviet Union as manageable, unlikely to disrupt their control. In the context of the Vietnam War, which largely concluded in 1975 with the fall of Saigon, the accords did not directly address human rights issues in Southeast Asia. The human rights concerns during the Vietnam era were shaped more by the war's conduct, international reactions, and post-war policies than by the Helsinki process itself. Nonetheless, the accords reflected a broader Cold War strategy that included arms control and diplomatic engagement. This strategy indirectly influenced United States foreign policy and global attitudes toward conflict resolution and human rights. The Helsinki Accords can be viewed as part of the shifting international environment in which the Vietnam War concluded. They signaled a move toward diplomacy and a framework for human rights that contrasted with earlier confrontations during the Cold War. While the accords did not directly shape human rights in Vietnam, they contributed to the evolving global discourse on human rights. This discourse would later influence international relations and advocacy for human rights after the war. The Helsinki Accords helped to advance human rights as an international issue during a time of détente, indirectly affecting the geopolitical landscape that included the Vietnam War.